foreigners pay for goods and services in Vietnam? Okay, so foreigners in Vietnam? Payment's pretty straightforward, actually. Cash is king for smaller stuff, street food, little shops. But bigger places? Visa, MasterCard, they're widely accepted. I used my Visa card at a fancy restaurant in Hoi An last December, no problems. The bill was around 1,500,000 VND, hotels, definitely cards. I stayed at a boutique hotel in Hanoi in February, paid with my MasterCard. Smooth as silk, even smaller places like that cute little spa I found near the beach in Ha Trang. Basically, credit cards are your friend for most things beyond street vendors. They work pretty much everywhere decent. I haven't had any issues really.
How do I pay someone in Vietnam? Ugh, paying people in Vietnam, huh? Cash is king, really. So much easier than dealing with banks. But carrying a wad of dong around? Scary. Robbery, man. I'd avoid that. Bank transfers are slow, a total drag. Takes forever. Seriously, days? No way am I waiting that long. Need it now? Forget banks. Mobile money. That's what my cousin uses. Momo, I think it's called. Super convenient for small stuff. She loves it. Faster than snails, unlike bank transfers. Online payments. A nightmare sometimes. Not every place accepts them. My experience with ZaloPay was frustrating. Small shops are a no-go usually. It's a pain. Best option? Probably Momo for smaller payments, because it's fast. Cash for quick, smaller transactions, but be careful. Bank transfer for big stuff, and when time isn't a factor. I hate waiting. Online payment is okay for bigger companies, not small shops. Cash, VND, risky for large amounts, but super common. Bank transfer, secure, slow. Takes days sometimes. Momo, mobile money. Fast and convenient, popular choice. Lots of people use it. Online payment, e.g., ZaloPay, inconvenient at times. Acceptance varies. My trip to Hoi An last month involved a ton of cash transactions, and my friend got scammed using a lesser-known online payment system. Always check reviews, just a thought. I almost lost my phone at the market too. Crazy stressful.
How to do payment in Vietnam. Cash reigns supreme on the streets. Vendors crave those Vietnamese dong. Credit cards, Visa, MasterCard get nods. Tourist spots, yes. Back alleys, nope. Cards convenient, but commissions bite. Maybe. Cash, king for small transactions. Cards, accepted at tourist hotspots. Fees, lurk behind convenience. ATMs scattered. Withdraw then haggle. Always haggle. My aunt lost her card in Hanoi. Bad luck, really bad. Pay attention. ATMs, easily located. Security, be vigilant. Wallets disappear. Digital wallets exist. Grab Pay Momo. I prefer the feel of money. Digital emerging options. Preference depends on use. Dong for street food. Transactions are like life. Uncertain. Plan, then adapt.
How do you pay for things in Vietnam? Vietnamese payment methods. Cash reigns supreme, especially with street vendors. Visa works. Many places take MasterCard too. My experience? Cash is king for smaller transactions. Cash, essential for smaller purchases. Think roadside snacks, cyclo rides. Visa, MasterCard, widely accepted in larger establishments, hotels, restaurants, local e-wallets. Momo, ZaloPay are gaining popularity. I use Momo myself. It's convenient, better than carrying stacks of dong. Pro tip, always have some VND readily available. Avoid unnecessary credit card fees. Foreign transactions aren't always cheap. 2024 is proving this point. My bank charges heavily. I learned that the hard way. A lesson learned. Some places, especially rural areas, remain cash only. Prepare accordingly. Credit cards? A luxury not always available. Don't count on them universally. Remember that.
How do people pay for things in Vietnam? Cash is king, still, especially outside tourist hubs. Think street food, smaller shops. I used my card in Hanoi last month, no problem at bigger places. Credit cards like Visa, MasterCard are common, even American Express sometimes. But my local friends, they mostly used cash. Funny how that works. Cash, essential for local markets, street vendors, transportation, taxis, buses. Think small denominations, makes life easier. Haggling anyone? Cards, hotels, restaurants in cities, larger stores, becoming more widespread. Even so, contactless payments in Da Nang. Progress, man. Mobile payments, growing rapidly. Think Momo, ZaloPay, VietelPay. Saw a lot of QR codes. Even used it myself to buy a banh mi. Pretty slick. Vietnam's economy, it's changing fast. Last trip, I even paid for some souvenirs with my phone. Crazy. But cash is still crucial. Remember those smaller bills, especially outside the big cities. Went to a tiny village outside Hue, cash only. Learned that the hard way. Always good to have some dong on hand. Just in case. That's my 2 cents anyway. My trip was in 2024, by the way.
How do people pay for stuff in Vietnam? Vietnamese payment methods? Think of it like this. Cash reigns supreme, a king on his throne of crumpled dong. But credit cards? They're the ambitious younger sibling, slowly but surely gaining ground. It's a fascinating dance between tradition and tech. Cash is king still. Street vendors? Cash. Tiny shops overflowing with colorful fabrics? Cash. Even some larger establishments cling to the good old-fashioned green stuff. Why? Nostalgia, maybe? Or just plain old convenience? Digital payments, however, are creeping up. Think of them as those sneaky ninjas, quietly infiltrating the system. Momo, ZaloPay. Names that whisper of digital convenience. My cousin in Hanoi swears by Momo. She says it's faster than waiting in line at the bank for 2 hours. Here's the breakdown. Cash. Still dominant, especially in smaller towns and rural areas, like a trusty old bicycle, reliable. Cards, Visa, MasterCard, gradually becoming more accepted, particularly in larger cities and tourist hotspots. Think of this as an upgraded scooter. E-wallets, Momo, ZaloPay, are the rising stars. They're the sleek electric motorcycles of the payment world. Fast, convenient, and gaining popularity. My personal experience? I once tried paying for a bowl of pho with my credit card. The vendor looked at me like I'd sprouted a second head. Cash is life, my friend, at least sometimes. Lesson learned. Always carry dong. Lots of it. Trust me on that one. Unless you like awkward situations. Then, well, carry a card too, perhaps.